Yes. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Wrestle News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Wednesday. We are back for another WN 365 Live, and live we are indeed. Hope everyone's doing good. Be sure to smash a like on the like button if you're just coming through the door. Like Acquisition there says, hola, yes, or hola. My Spanish was never good. I never even did it at school. It's the one language I basically didn't do. I did English, French, and German. No Spanish for old Wrestle News 365. But maybe you can teach me, Acquisition. This evening, it's going to be a long stream. Now, as I mentioned, we are live every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. UK time. Oh, I'm a bit see-through. I've got to fix that. That will bother me straight away. There you go. Let's go to that. Yeah, bit background. We'll fix it later. It's fine. Yes, we are going to be in for a busy one this evening. As I mentioned, WN365 Live is live every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. UK time. Length of the stream can vary from about an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even longer than that. And it is going to be longer than that today because we're going to have a bit of fun. What we're going to do in this evening's stream is we're going to be watching the entire season of WWE Unreal. Yes, Season 2 of WWE Unreal has premiered this week on Netflix. There's 5 episodes. They're 45 minutes long, and we're just going to be watching all of them. We're going to be discussing. We're going to be reacting. We're going to be just seeing what it's all about. I was 50-50 on the first season. I think that obviously it's very, very interesting to peek behind the curtain and see how everything's put together, and getting that kind of access is something we as fans are not used to, so it's very, very interesting. There is something in me that just doesn't sometimes like to see the magic behind the magic trick, if you know what I mean, and which I know it's crazy. Oh, and you do a news channel for wrestling. You're part of the problem. I get enough of that. So I get that, but this season, they're covering Seth Rollins doing the Ruse of the Century. Is that what they called it? R-Truth's departure and then return to WWE. And I think a couple of Jelly Rolls match at SummerSlam. It's all about SummerSlam, the build to this. So yes, a couple of additions to WN365 Live that I did speak about last week that have now been implemented. First of all, you can see right there, subscribers box. Yes, as you can see right there, we're over 26,100 subscribers. Now we're at 26,107 to be specific, and that's a live ticker. So as the subscribers go up and hopefully not down, it will update itself in real time, so we can have targets and all that kind of fun stuff. In addition to that, I did promise TTS. I did promise Spotlight for members and for people who put in super chats. As always, if you are a member of the WN365 roster, you will be highlighted in the roster appreciation ticker at the bottom of the screen. It's on every single screen on WN365 Live and coming soon to other videos and streams too. But yes, you will be highlighted for your immense contributions to this channel. In addition to that, if you do send in super chats, I think at the moment I've got it. Well, all super chats you pop up on the screen, but if it's above, if it's a green super chat or above, we've got TTS playing. Yes, we've got TTS playing, so this is how it should work. So for instance, if you super chatted this evening, this is a test, it would go something like this.
Yeah!
Kevin super chatted $78.
Yeah.
This is a test super chat message.
You get my point? For some reason there was 2 there, but that happens. It gets read out. Yes. Same for new members as well. New members, you get highlighted. If indeed you do join the WN365 roster, you don't just get on the ticker, you also get...
Acknowledge me.
Kevin has become a WN365 roster member. This is a test YouTube membership.
Yes, exactly. So you'll be spotlighted. And the same for subscribers. You don't get the actual TTS, but you do get just something like that. Yes. Kevin, clearly very, very, very keen. Yes. Big up to everyone who's coming through the door. Soup says, watching the whole season tonight? Yep. And I've got to start soon because it's going to be a long one. We will go to actually the watch along studio, which has been newly renovated for WN365 Live. I can go to it here. Yes, look at this. It's magic. Here's me behind my desk with my other microphone and with what I'm assuming is some kind of drink with a bit of a information on the other side of the screen about what we're watching, about which episode we're watching. The episode that we're watching is highlighted in white. Once it starts, I will also start a timer so you can timestamp. So if you're just coming through the door or if you're starting a bit later, you can sync yourself up. If you go, look, I don't have time to watch it all tonight like you, Owen, but I might watch it back with you at a later date, you'll be able to sync up with the sidebar right over there on the right-hand side of the screen, so you don't even have to worry about that. Also, you will see in the now watching part a very, very blurred and zoomed-in version of the show. It's just to show that something is happening. Obviously, it doesn't violate TOS or copyright or anything like that. It's just there as a reference point for you guys, and it won't get me in trouble. So yes, and also this was why I was kind of on the fence about doing this stream this evening, watching the whole thing. It wasn't because it was long. I was just thinking there is going to be a lot of dead air. You know me, I like to try and fill the dead air. I don't like it just to be silent all the time. But we're watching a documentary series together here, so there is going to be a bit of dead air. I won't be doing pausing because then we will be watching this for like 6 hours. But like as if we collectively, the WN365 community, sat down and just went, right, let's watch all of this, just binge watch it all the way through. We'll be chatting as it's playing a little bit, reacting to little bits as it happens. And then at the end of the episode, maybe we can, do something then. But we're going to be in a marathon this evening. We're going to be starting. In fact, I've got it loaded up on my Netflix right now. This is WWE Unreal Season 2. And I've, full transparency as well, I've seen a couple of clips on social media. I have not seen full episodes. I have not seen a lot of this. Like I said, I've seen some select clips and some select news stories. That's about it. So we can get right into this. So making sure that everything's muted as it should be. Right. I will press play in 3, 2, 1. Play. As it loads. And I start my timer there. Right. We start WWE Unreal. And you should see, right. So you see there's like a bit of a blur there. You don't really see what's happening at all, but you know I'm watching something, right? This is how it's going to work for us all, folks. As we're seeing Seth Rollins. He's wrestled as God. Gix is a deep cut. Tyler Black, yes, of course, from Ring of Honor. Former Ring of Honor World Champion. Yes. Seth Rollins indeed. That is very loud. So what's always wild about pro wrestling is that they say, what's your name? He's got a government name, and then he's got a name that people know him better as, or more as. I would struggle to wrap my head around that. (2010). Yeah. He'll do a Dusty impression. Everyone does a Dusty impression. Of course, there you go. I told you. Seth Rollins. And it would be on the marquee for WrestleMania. I don't know if Dusty necessarily completely actually, saw it on the marquee for WrestleMania. He was probably just making it up as he went along. It's incredible, his list of accomplishments, but he's never been considered as the top guy in WWE. some of his biggest one of arguably his biggest push as a babyface in his career came when Roman was absent, right? During his initial absence in 2018. But no doubt a top star in WWE. Doot, zoot, zoot. He found out at WrestleMania. I mean, Michael Hayes, you're meant to be a connected guy. Surely you knew. Look at that footage from the wedding. It can't be a bit of cake. They used a bowl as a speaker as well. See, this is the stuff of documentaries where you realize that some part of this documentary, of course, is built for wrestling fans and created for wrestling fans, but some of it isn't. Some of it is for the casual. They're trying to tell the stories of the performers. It's like Drive to Survive. No days off, Paul. So this is really sort of into WrestleMania coming up to SummerSlam. I think that's what this season's all about. So we'll be covering Evolution. Money in the Bank. The Rollins injury. Excuse me, injury. And the lengths they went to sell it, and people getting pretty pissed off because of it. And a sort of pretending that nobody knew, nobody was aware that he was hurt when people were aware that he was hurt. Initially, it looked like legit, and then as the weeks went on, people kind of realized fairly quickly that it was a work. I mean, they didn't know, which I suppose is the whole part of it. But they, you know, reports were there going around. Rollins and Becky Lynch are training next to a wrestling ring. Oh, this is the Tuesday before WrestleMania. I wonder if they'll cover, with this Becky Lynch coming back at WrestleMania thing, how Bayley was royally screwed over throughout all of this. Like, don't get me wrong, Becky Lynch and Lyra had great matches, and the feud coming out of WrestleMania was actually pretty good in terms of matches and what have you, and I do think it actually helped Lyra. But Bayley was screwed over this WrestleMania weekend. Not injured, she got pulled from it just because Bayley's not Becky, basically. And kept off of WrestleMania in the process. And she's still floating around on television, not doing all that much, let's be honest. See, I have a bit of this is where you have to be careful with WWE sort of documentary storytelling, because yes, obviously, that night on Raw in 2018 when Nia Jax breaks her face, that's a massive moment for her, no doubt. And it's her standing in the crowd doing that, blood coming down her face. She was meant to face Ronda Rousey that weekend at Survivor Series. It didn't happen. But she got over months earlier. She became the man months earlier. She was the man after she turned heel at SummerSlam and attacked Charlotte Flair. Because it's a playoff Ric Flair's moniker. She's the man. So she got over turning heel against Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam in 2018. She then got really popular in the months after that and started this strong social media game going back and forth with Ronda Rousey. And then she was meant to have the match with Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. It doesn't happen because of the broken face. And if anything, that actually helped her getting over even more organically. So, yes, the broken face part is a significant portion of her getting over and elevating, to the main event scene. But to suggest it all happened in that night is not totally accurate. It'd been starting months before when she turned heel at SummerSlam. And it makes you wonder, you're seeing these scenes from 2020 here of, this is Becky Lynch probably not long after she's given birth. And it just makes you wonder, like, what are they filming now? These are things we didn't even know that they're filming or are being covered at the time. And yet, things are always getting filmed. Always getting filmed.
Yeah!
At Jason Hanna 9912 super chatted £5. Owen, they were loud booing in Belfast when WWE were showing the Royal Rumble coming up in Saudi and chanting "You sold out."
I'm not surprised. Big up Jason for the super chat, and there you go, text to speech in full effect. Big up Jason, yes. I tell you what, that makes things so much easier for me. I'm not surprised. That's been happening every single time. It's going to be happening for the next year. It's been happening at the Royal Rumble, hasn't it? And it'll be happening because they'll be showing a million video packages for next year's WrestleMania in Riyadh. And if anything, that will get an even worse reaction, won't it? Imagine them being in the UK, imagine them being in the UK and them showing a Saudi WrestleMania video package. They'll be fuming. Or just around Europe. Everyone will believe they deserved a WrestleMania, right? So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. But big up, Jason. Appreciate the super chat. I'm seeing Becky Lynch seized up. That is one thing I do want to do in my life at some point. Or writers meeting, I've got to pay attention to this. Yeah, she's a surprise, but a surprise for who? Right? Because you're getting rid of Bayley. There's no one putting their hand up going, how does this make Bayley look? I bet that won't get brought up. Well, it won't get brought up. I'm sure of it. Look at that. God. 2014. The first NXT match you ever saw was Becky Lynch's debut. I mean, fair play, Lyra, for saying that inspired you. But Becky Lynch, I mean, her coming out doing the Irish jig, it was not that inspiring. You know what I mean? Fair play, though. I wonder when that was in 2018, because if it's the second half of the year, she's already a massive star, yeah. I mean, she's already a big name. She's WWE superstar. But if it's like second half of 2018, then she's already becoming a megastar. Now, one thing I will definitely give WWE credit for is post Becky Lynch feud, I felt that Lyra was more over and more comfortable on the main roster. At this point, when she became inaugural Women's IC champion, I didn't think she was ready for the spot at the time. But why doesn't Lyra have a partner, Paul? I never get that. I mean, maybe it's quite endearing, that these big stars or these people that are super popular, like Becky Lynch, is worried she's not going to be as over when she returns. Of course she's going to be over when she returns. Becky Lynch. You know what I mean? But, if you're in your own mind and your own head, it's what it is. Rahul says, oh, and why are you live? It surprised me because I'm live every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. here on the channel. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. We're live 8 p.m. for WN365 Live. Bless little Rue. It must be horrible for anyone. It's not even pro wrestling. It must be horrible just in general. You know what I mean? That's life of being a parent that works, isn't it? You never want to leave your child at home or what have you. Final contract, she says. So if she signed a new deal when she came back in 2025, maybe it's a 5-year deal. Maybe she's done in sort of 2030. We're in the final run of Becky Lynch. If it's a 3-year deal, then she's already a year into it. It's always amazing just seeing the people hanging out in the backstage in the gorilla position. Now, it's interesting that she thought that. Because they're both right. She got a great reaction on the night. Why wouldn't she get a great reaction on the night? But also, people weren't happy because they felt that Bayley got a rough part of the deal, which is also true. But inside the arena, Becky Lynch isn't going to get booed. She doesn't have to worry about that. Look at that, you just standing behind the doors. Only thing separating you between tens of thousands of people is just a thin bit of a lot of wires and stuff. And so she got a great reaction. I don't think they had to worry about her getting a pop. And this was night 2 of WrestleMania. Night 2 was the worst night. Night 1 was okay. Night 2 was the shit. Tears in the eyes. Seth Rollins. Almost. You're crying, Seth. You're not almost. You are crying. It's funny, I don't really remember much from this match. Apart from Becky wasn't in it a ton. Maybe I'm mistaken. Remember that feathers were going everywhere. Maybe I was just very distracted by Liv Morgan's ring attire. Who wouldn't be? Who would have thought as well that Triple H and Bruce Pritchard would be running things in WWE? Not so much about like one of them, but both of them together, because historically all the stories were that like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon hated Bruce Pritchard. But maybe not the case. Yeah. Manhandle slam. I forgot Liv took the pin at WrestleMania. They weren't champions for long, though, were they? They were not tag team champions for long. That's big words. Hope for the future. It's the hope for the future. Is that Lyra Valkyria, says Becky Lynch. Actually, I bet she's absolutely buzzing. Lyra, can you believe it? I mean, I'm not shocked by that at all. I tell you what, he's going to be tough. I've got to sit through 5 lots of 45 minutes of Triple H. You know, very monotonous interviews. I forgot about that. Yeah, she got a championship. I tell you what, their daughter is an absolute spitting image of Seth Rollins. Must say. She's the champ now. God, Triple H's voice is getting... It's nearly getting as gravelly as Vince's, isn't it? Jeez. Oh no, to SummerSlam. Between her and Lyra. Next night we had the turn. Went back right into Becky Lynch. That's a great Sal by Lyra, wasn't it? Brilliant Sal. Great Sal by Lyra. Looking shocked with a custom championship. When he did the very obvious heel turn. Big clothesline. See, that always is fascinating, isn't it? We didn't really know what it would look like when she turned on me. So, and that's not really discussed. All you know is that she's going to do it. And then they're like, well, I don't know what it's going to be. I guess she's just going to beat me up. Well, of course they did. It's the post WrestleMania crowd, which is an international crowd. It's a crowd from all over the world come in, and they're a bloodthirsty crowd, and that's the key thing. What Becky's saying there, the reason why they're cheering it there is because they don't know Lyra enough. If you turn on a babyface that's over, you won't get cheered, you'll get booed. If you turn on a babyface that isn't that over, yeah, exactly. That's what Lyra's saying. It's going to take time. Yeah. How can you make the business better, Becky? Well, they did certainly coming out of the feud, but I'm just thinking since then, they haven't done much since. Then don't do it. You know what I mean? Bruce Pritchard, like executive director of WWE, he is critical in the creative process. He could heavily push for them not to do a PLE post WrestleMania. He's like, it's a pain in the ass to do, then don't do it. No one's forcing you unless they are, i.e. TKO, because that's what it's about. It's about putting on events and making money. What? The face of WWE to some people. Triple H. What are you talking about? The face of WWE. I mean, I know the point you're trying to make, i.e. they're the commentator, so they're on television a lot and they're, talking to a lot of the viewers. But I don't think anyone considers Pat McAfee the face of WWE. If you were going to say, like, Michael Cole, because he's your guide through all of the storylines and the big moments, all right, fine. But nobody considers Pat McAfee the face of WWE. What a load of shit. $2018. I mean, that just feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? Look how far his show's come on as well. He's just behind a tiny desk. Yeah, he's very popular, and look, he's not a limited to WWE popularity, right? He's a cross-platform popular guy, no doubt about that, but not the face of WWE. See, this is what I wonder. See, Michael Cole's sort of saying there, oh, we were planting seeds by doing this. But I don't think they started yeeting sort of 3 or 4 months prior and then going, oh, we're going to do this for Gunther to attack, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee on. I think they did it just because it's for the entertainment value. Surely Gunther's not going to participate in this. Is he going to call the match sacred? He's not going to do interviews, surely. What I will say, so this angle on the Raw after WrestleMania, this was a good angle. This was a good angle. I did like this angle. It was well done. It was different, surprised people, didn't see it coming. I thought it did work quite well. Uh-oh. He's not the one who tapped out. Bless me. So when you have the no commentary and you just hear the crowd reaction, it was definitely popular and over. And then the McAfee guys trying to get involved just added to the chaos. See, that just goes to show, like, that's how orchestrated and that's how choreographed all of this is. Like, while Gunther's doing it, he is being told as he's doing it, keep it cinched in, go tighter, keep going. And then he's told to let go at certain time. Right, now you can let go. So it goes to show, like, even the smallest details out there are being sort of fed through. There's not a lot of room for improv out there, particularly with angles. Gunther's already back. I remember watching this live. I mean, if you probably go back to the watch along, you can see me react to it live, and I was like, I was saying at the time that they stayed on Pat McAfee for ages. It's because on Raw and Netflix, you're never not live, because they were in commercial at this point here, but commercial on Netflix is still going live, whilst other people are seeing commercials on Netflix. For me, like here in the UK, I'm not seeing commercials ever. So you have to just keep going. And he did his best to sell it, like he says. He's not an actor. He's an NFL punter, broadcaster, a part-time wrestler, a bit of everything. Yeah, it was good. That was good. Good little line that by Michael Cole. It was a good angle. You see, look again, Paul Heyman, how involved he is. He's got a pretty big facility, Pat McAfee, in Indianapolis. Of course, he's got his studio that he does his show from. Is that Brooks Jensen? He's got very heavily tanned palms. Got a bit of the fake tan going on there. But look at that. He's got a WWE ring on a basketball court. And a broadcasting studio. For the limited ring time that he has, McAfee's is very good in the ring. But you know, this is what it is sometimes with athletes. They can transition easily, but someone like McAfee, who's an athlete, but also he's got personality. That's the key thing. It's athleticism mixed with personality. It was a great sal. Great sal of a stunner there. It is true. It would have been his first proper match since 2022. Yeah. Oh, his chops are brutal. Absolutely brutal. Oof. Yeah. Absolutely brutal. They are. Oof. It's going to happen. Back in the writer's room. Yeah, me too. Why? Yeah, why would you pitch Pat McAfee to beat Gunther? Yeah. Bruce Pritchard. Yeah, I mean, get out the writing room. You're serious. You were seriously predicting Pat McAfee to beat Gunther, like that writer's saying right there. What sense would that make? Pat disappears in a couple of months' time because he does commentary. He does College Game Day as well. And this is the guy also that they had retired John Cena just a few months later on at the end of the year, and they retired Goldberg later on at the end as well this summer. You're gonna lose to the color commentator. That's not a wrestler. Good grief! Thank goodness they didn't go down that route. But the fact that that is even pitched is kind of horrifying. Not gonna lie. Yeah. That's the tough thing, isn't it? Is you can work out, but it's having the cardio. Yeah. That is the right advice, isn't it? Going, look, if you get gassed, it's fine. Just as long as you communicate that you're getting gassed, that's the key thing. And Michael Cole standing up in his shirt. Is it calling Walter? That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Knowing that you're going to put him over at the end, like handshake, nod of approval. What are you going to do? Don't know yet. I'll feel it. That goes to show the level of trust that Triple H has in Gunther. Like I said a couple of minutes ago, you see just how choreographed things are. For them to be like, you're going to put him over at the end, right? Yeah. How are you going to do that? I don't know. Which is, I think, how wrestling should be. Of like, let's not get too locked into that. Let's see how the crowd reacts to it. That. Ugh. Oh, look at the chops in slow motion. Yeah, I can imagine it hurt. Oh. Yeah. That shows some fire. Still look at that athleticism. And a big punt kick, yeah. Gunther, you can just have a good match with anyone. You really can. You know things are going good when you've got a Michael Cole chant going. I remember, yeah, being, pleasantly surprised by their match at Backlash. But like I said, Gunther can have a good match against anyone, unless apparently their name's Jey Uso, seemingly. Oof, that was a nasty landing. It's interesting, again, that they would leave that up to you. If you want to get up, you can. That's what you're meant to do. I don't know. No, it was a good match. Can't doubt that. Yeah, he certainly did. Did he shake? Yeah, I don't think he shook his hand in the end, did he? Did he shake his hand? I don't know if Gunther was like, good, Triple H's like, you feel it? He's like, yeah. They can tell that he's asking, who said that commentator could fight out of my finish? I did. Oh, great idea. That's a good you know, life lesson. Take a Polaroid. Yes, you do, John. Yes, you do have that gear left. I'm trying to remember their match they had at Backlash. Becky and Lyra. I know Becky didn't win the first one, and then she won it. Les Kevin Owens backstage in the Gorilla. He didn't have his neck surgery until, I want to say, like maybe late May or June. I remember Lyra wins this, then Becky wins it at Money in the Bank? Or was it Evolution? I forget. TJ Wilson, the former Tyson Kid, he's one of WWE's best producers. You tend to find that the matches that are most well received end up being produced by him. Oh, I remember the reaction to that at the time, being like, who was that? Or that's Lyra's fiance. What a nerd. Then they found out he was a wrestler, and everyone was like, oh, actually, maybe not. Yep, heels are supposed to cheat. That's how it works. Basic psychology of pro wrestling. Heels are supposed to cheat. Yep. Hit the finish. Just protects your finish a little bit. Dumb referee. Again, it's funny how literally, again, that's how choreographed everything is. Referee's there, fumbling around, doing stuff that's right. Turn around now. And Paul Heyman looks nearly unconscious backstage in Gorilla. And straight away attack straight after. Oh, was she not maybe meant to jump it straight away? Oh, some of the people were maybe a bit slow to get out there, or didn't expect to be getting out there because they thought Becky was going to wait a little bit. Yeah, Jason Jordan. You're not Kurt Angle's son for nothing. Yeah, that's what they're saying. What's good on? They did have a good match. They did have a good match. But I kind of agree with Triple H's point there. Like, if your intention or your motivation is to get Lyra over, you're not allowing the pop for Lyra because she beats you over, but then you've got to let her have the moment to make her look really big. And she didn't do that. She cut her off straight away. And it's one of those ones where I think Triple H has like a management position. What do you do there? You got a big star. Do you chew Becky Lynch out? No, it's not that hill to die on. But it is one of those ones where you go, you don't have to do that. You could have given her a bit more of a moment there. Eye on the long term. That's where the money is. Their roster's retiring and bloody very old. So we're just seeing what we are going to be watching on this season of WWE Unreal. Going to be watching a bit of Chelsea Green. Like I said, I've only seen a couple of clips online from this series, and I've seen like one or two of Road Dogg, and he comes across terribly. Well, I'm glad we're getting more Abyss in this series, because he did come across really well in the first season, I thought. Take that, MFer. Why was Io Sky hugging Paul Levesque like that? You ain't seen nothing yet. Well, there you go. That's one episode down. We're one episode down. Let me update this. So that was the first episode of WWE Unreal Season 2. What did I think of that? I mean, it was okay. I mean, what was really big that was covered in that? It was what the Gunther McAfee, that stuff was cool. But Becky Lynch, Lyra stuff, which was fine. Like I said, I wish they would have addressed more the, because there was backlash, no pun intended. There was backlash in the sense that, with the Bayley stuff, people weren't necessarily thrilled about the Bayley stuff, but they just never even touched that. But there you go. If you haven't already clicked the like button, be sure to subscribe. Let's go on to episode 2, known as The Truth. I wonder who that could be about. Let's click play in 3, 2, 1. Let's go into episode 2, The Truth, which will probably be about Ron Killings, one would think. Is that cameraman doing push-ups? Oh, he's got one of those push-up boards. What names he gone by? R-Truth, K-Quick, Ron the Truth Killings. I didn't have the Shabazz one. Or K-Crush. K-Quick, yes. R-Truth. What about Ron the Truth? There you go. Now, having seen some of the sneak peek of this episode before, I do just kind of wonder how this one will come across. Because in the clip, I thought Triple H came across quite badly and the whole thing. Not even in the match. Everyone loves R-Truth. And he doesn't age. Paul Heyman. It's when he broke Big Brock. I mean, even that, like that, the ladder spot, that's a decade ago. It makes me feel so old. Even being a decade old. I like that spot in the when he entered the Women's Royal Rumble. That was good. That was good. That was good. Yes. He was let go. Or was he let go? Who was at fault here? Right, yes. What's working, what's not is our fan base. Road Dogg Jesse James, the Roadie, BG James, Armstrong, yeah. You miss BG James. Which is just crazy to me that he's got these really high-profile positions. He was let go by WWE, and he was like twerking for a job with AEW, and then started bashing AEW. He was lead writer of SmackDown in 2017 when it wasn't good, and AJ Styles defended him, saying, "Well, that's Vince McMahon." But when it comes to creative, there have been so many reports of like bad things with Road Dogg. His story of recovery is remarkable, though. Road Dogg, that's one thing you can't take away from him. Look at that. 26 years ago. Over a quarter of a century ago. Good grief. And look, R-Truth does not look any different, which is incredible. They'll show the picture of him with Tupac. There you go. There you go. And also, as well, as Truth is just ridiculously athletic. Look at that with Jerry. Yeah, Road Dogg and R-Truth are obviously legitimately incredible friends, very close friends. Yeah, I forgot they had that song together. K-Quick and the Road Dogg. Nothing really happened, though, with those two. But they weren't really featured that much at the time. They were mainly doing stuff on WWE C shows, you know, like Metal, Jacked, all that kind of stuff. R-Truth album release party. Look at him, he's there. And Molly Holly's there as well. And this is when you have to be careful with documentaries because... God, look at him dancing. Oh, The Miz is there. And Montez Ford. So when was this concert? Is this before or after the return and all that kind of stuff over the summer? Oh, Carmelo Hayes there as well. Oh, it's John Cena's dad. It's John Cena Sr. So this has got to be at like a convention or something, right? That would have been great. If they'd have done a thing where R-Truth was with John Cena's dad and they just played it straight like he was actually John Cena Sr.'s son. That would have been good. That would have been good. Yeah, he started doing like John Cena's childhood hero like in what, 2018? 2017, I think? Yeah, like 20. He's been doing it for a long time. Yeah, I would say like 2018, something like that. Was that for the WWE Championship? I think I said WWE Championship because I don't know if it should have ever been. Well, they could have made it for the championship if they'd have built it up. But from what I recall, it only had a build up of a couple of weeks after Backlash. Yeah, there you go. It was 10th of May. Because R-Truth had just like got involved in the main event between Cena and Orton. I always felt, yeah, doing a then a wrestling move through a table, it's a bit awkward. But that's pro wrestling, isn't it? Pro wrestling is awkward at the very best of times. Well, he ended up doing it eventually, didn't he? He ended up shaving his head eventually when he came back. But the problem is, that's what you do for a lot of the stuff. Why am I supposed to believe, oh, Ron cut his hair? Why am I supposed to believe, oh, Travis Scott never came back? Why am I supposed to go, oh, The Rock never came back? This happens all the time. Yeah. Today's Wednesday. Oh, so that was like 4 days before. Well, that is a ridiculous pitch then, isn't it? 4 days before Saturday night's main event, he's going to cut there. Nothing. They did it anyway. They did it eventually anyway, and it didn't accomplish anything. It hurts my heart. God, look about making the mountain out of a molehill. He wants to cut his hair. Well, why would we do that? It's 4 days before the event. All right, don't get so, bitchy about it. You can do it at a later date. They did, and it led to nothing. Like the whole serious R-Truth character led, in the first place. It led to nothing. I hope they address that too in this episode. Or maybe it's in the next season. that after all of this, after all the, we want truth and they brought him back and this, that, and the other, it went nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Truth shaved his head. I think he maybe faced Cena twice. Did a couple of like tweener promos, maybe sort of more towards a heel promo. And then he just became a good guy again. And that was it. Didn't really go anywhere. It was Ron Cena. Gonna beat hustle, loyalty, and respect back into to Cena. From what I recall, this was a pretty nondescript match, so I can't really remember much that really happened all that much. If I recall correctly. Hit him so hard his earrings came out. It's also remarkable that Ken Doan's producing a John Cena match. If you'd have said that them in 2008, no way would that have been a thing. Considering the history between Cena, Mickey James, Ken Doan, if you know, you know. I won't go into it, but there was a lot of politics involved in that situation. So the fact that all those years later he's in WWE and producing a John Cena match, working together with all of them, goes to show, things move on. And it wasn't, R-Truth that managed to turn him into a good guy in the end. No, it was Cody Rhodes on a random episode of SmackDown. Wow, SummerSlam Go Home show. Bang! Despicable by John Cena. Man, that first half of 2025 feels like a fever dream with some of the bad creative and what have you. And again, this is why it was so surprising, because like 2 weeks after is when everything exploded. I want to say it was like 2 weeks after, maybe. Everyone was happy. Look at Paul Heyman lurking in the background. Yeah, everything comes to a stop. That was May 24th. Yeah, it was only a few days later, about a week. Guess I remember the proximity being really close. But it was surprising and shocking. I remember doing the video on it. Road Dogg emotional. It felt like it was out of the blue, to be fair, when it got, the story broke. But why did you need to put out the tweet there, Road Dog? You didn't need to. See, and then what Triple H says next here for me is like him trying to deny accountability. You see all these people here basically saying it's bullshit that he got let go and they weren't happy about it. And in a couple of minutes, Triple H basically tries to say that it's R-Truth's fault. Going, no, he shouldn't. He was never let go. He's never not under contract. It's actually R-Truth's fault. This is the Triple H thing. Yeah, find your words properly, Paul. Yes, his contract was coming up. It's such a press PR bit of bullshit. Basically, if you read between the lines, what it is WWE wanted to give him less money. R-Truth said, I don't really want that money. Then they say, well, look, this is our offer. If you don't take it, we'll let your contract lapse. So R-Truth goes, well, they're not gonna pick up my contract, so I'm done then, aren't I? So for WWE to sort of be like, well, no, he's not released. We just weren't going to sign his contract. Semantics, isn't it? And then, and what Road Dogg's saying here is true, where he's saying that I can understand it. He's an older guy. But just be honest and say, look, we got it wrong. We anticipated there wasn't going to be that much of a reaction. There was. Sorry. We got it wrong. Because even when he gets brought back, they don't really sort of go like, oh, you were right, we were wrong. They basically try and spin it as, oh, this was part of the plan the whole time. I remember post R-Truth returning, Triple H tried to spin it like, oh, we were always going to bring him back. This was always the plan, which was such bullshit. Oh, such rubbish. We never wanted him to leave. We just wanted to get to an amicable place. We wanted him to take less money. I wonder with this if they're gonna. Sure, I mean they'd have probably been film. They would have been filming when obviously they find out that she's pregnant and what have you. So, and if that's featured in this season or an upcoming season. Naomi, Trinity. And she was with WWE for a long time. I mean, she was in that season 3 of NXT in like 2010. So she's been since 2009. No, she was basically a dancer. She was really good in NXT season 3, though. She was like the best worker, pretty much, in that season. I mean, surely they probably cover her walkout, right? Yeah, I wonder how WWE will. Because this was, for me, WWE still, I think the way, maybe Naomi and Sasha Banks handled it maybe wasn't the best, but the circumstances surrounding it were, I think, entirely justified. Considering that backstage environment, John Laurinaitis' talent relations, we know how that went. Vince McMahon. Yeah, and then and WWE tried to bury him, basically. They said they let us all down. Yeah, going Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis. Yeah, exactly. That's the critical two names that they won't talk about there. John Laurinaitis, Vince McMahon. John Laurinaitis. They won't mention his name. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's not the right. It's not the right thing to do. But there's also a reason why you won't mention the former head of talent relations. There's also a reason why you won't mention Vince McMahon's name as well. Yeah, Triple H was coming back from his cardiac event. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Where you got to be careful with WWE's version of events because they're omitting a lot of information there. And it was the right move for her. She left. She did great stuff in TNA in the Knockouts division. And she came back arguably more over than when she left. Huh. Jimmy Uso, yeah. They both came through FCW. It's true, it's life on the road. It obviously must put you in a difficult position, work-wise. Because there's no way, because you must be worried about the politics that are involved in it. And how it's got nothing to do with you, but people will, particularly people like Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, they will take it out on you. You can tell the different interviews of Triple H, because one, he's got a considerably shorter beard than he does at different point in another one. Yeah, she left, and then WWE promptly buried her, and Sasha Banks said she let everyone down. is one hell of a family tree. Which, of course, they are now adding to. She started, she was second entrant, I think. Started the match with Natalia. It definitely did. She certainly did her. That's what was. There's nothing unfortunate about, obviously, her getting pregnant. It's a blessing and it's a gift. It's funny how these things work out. It's at a time where she was doing her best work. Yeah. And also, Jade got injured, so they had to write her off television. That was also the part of it, is that Jade Cargill had to be written off television because she was injured, which people backstage didn't believe at the time. They thought she was faking it because she wanted off a an upcoming holiday tour. That was it. Healy says, I want to start my own channel for vibes. WWE Man United. Go for it. You know? Don't put it off. Just start and figure it out along the way. The best heel in the company. Her video package, they were very strong. Of course, they're going to have some of those influences and stuff like that. Sometimes it's true. The nicest people are the one to watch. It was the right call for her to win, definitely. I mean, the other people could have been... Was Chelsea Green in that match? Maybe someone like her. See, I don't know if they do this in this episode, but I would love to see how they put these matches together. Putting these matches together, because the level of choreographing and the level of spots you need to remember and the sequence is really, really important and really, really difficult. Although it's a bit of a rib because you've got to carry the actual briefcase around with you forever. It's definitely not easy to put these matches together. Because if one thing goes wrong, they just fall apart. And again, I would love to see, you know, if you're going to pull the curtain back, have the conversation with Triple H telling the person they're going to win or what have you. Because thinking about it, so far in these first 2 episodes, we've not really seen a lot of like real behind the scenes stuff. Apart from Bruce Pritchard actually was pitching Pat McAfee to beat Gunther at Backlash, which is ridiculous. That's also the thing as well, isn't it? You know, you've got so much communication, so many referees, so if anyone gets lost, they're telling them all the spots that they need to do. It's not as if you go out there completely by yourself and no help to direct you of where you need to go. Yes, not Triple H, here Nick Khan. Because again, it was Triple H's F up. That's what it was. And don't you notice, since Truth's come back, what's he done? Nothing. You don't. I think Triple H, he must hold some resentment because the way he was bumbling around that explanation for it, and now Truth was like, no, I don't want to talk to Triple H. I want to talk to Nick Khan. Hmm. Yeah, that was, to be fair. Yeah, Triple H was, he's right on that one. The Cena's original pitch there wasn't. That's the handful of people that knew. Triple H, Cody, Cena. Swearing in front of Nick Khan's child, by the way. Triple H there. Now, Michael Cole said sometimes he doesn't want to know. He probably shouldn't know. The commentators don't need to know. Like I said, it was right that Jey Uso and Logan Paul need to know. They're in the match. Bruce Pritchard, Ed Koski. This is maybe about it. You see Naomi make her entrance. Yes, Healy, we're watching all 5 episodes this evening. We're on episode 2, The Truth. We've probably got, like 7 minutes left of it. Then we'll be on to episode 3. And it is funny to see what was going on behind the scenes to an extent at this point, because the reaction to the creative at this point in WWE last year was like, it's not great. And it didn't get much better. And those ladders hurt, to say the least. Oof. It's a brutal match. That's when Rhea Ripley just got buried on top of all of those ladders. I'm trying to remember what the finish of this one was. Obviously, I know Naomi won, but just trying to remember what the sort of closing moments were. My goodness, I do like in the Intuit Dome that they've got those sort of lights that are on the seats. It was the Code Reds and Pop Rocks on the ladders. So was it Naomi pushing Rhea Ripley off the ladder? Was that the finish? I can't really remember. Or was there a race to the top? That was the moment. It was the right decision, especially with those that were in the match. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, she was going to have a great run as champion. But, you know, becoming a mother is nothing unfortunate. Indeed, it is special. Have to get the pointed picture. And look at that. Just literally, just to get it customized, you just have to ask him straight away. Can I get this customized? Yeah, talk to the props guy. That's it. That's how you get. That's how you do it. Don't ask, you don't get. Yeah. Look at Biggie, how ginormous he is in that shirt. Lillian Garcia trying to make Naomi cry. Yeah. Everything hurts. Everything hurts. I mean, it's a ladder match, isn't it? That's how it works. Oh, look, there's The Undertaker. On headsets as well. Look at that, just literally Bobby Roode finding out in real time. Look at Undertaker lingering as well. Trying to hear. Look at that, Cena. Nice. Yep. Cody and Jay versus Cena and Logan. I always thought this was a bit of a... Again, what they don't address here is what the original main event was going to be. The original main event for this PLE was going to be Cody Rhodes and the Usos versus Logan Paul, John Cena, and Travis Scott. But Travis Scott never came back. So again, this is the sort of creative chaos that they're not actually talking about here. So again, they only say on headsets once the match is going, they actually tell the cameramen that R-Truth's going to be coming back. Ugh, splat on the table. Ugh. Unbelievable athleticism. Yeah, Shane Helms does all of the Logan Paul matches. I think he's worked with Logan Paul on every match. So I've seen her use the title. Boom. Send him, send him. There you go. There was R-Truth. Oh, a great reaction, though. But again, it doesn't tell the story, which is... This is like chaos going on creatively. Because people aren't, because they let go the guy and there wasn't a plan and all this stuff. So it's a great moment, but it was WWE messing up. And that reaction in the crowd. It must felt great. How could it not? And like Cena said, I suppose the difficult part of it as well is that, this was... Truth's a part of it, but it wasn't really all about Truth. It was about, Cody beating Cena, which I suppose complicated matters a little bit. There he is, he's back. Yeah, straight away. I'm so happy you're still here. It was nothing personal, it was business. All right, Paul. All right. Shakes Bruce's hands straight after. I think I got away with that one. Yeah, yeah. It was very clear to try and avoid accountability on that one. Oh, they didn't tell him. They didn't. They still didn't tell him. Oh, I should. Triple H, man. Oh, we gotta make sure we tell Jay and Logan. We gotta make sure we tell Jay and Logan it's their match. They deserve to know. Never even told him. Never even told him in the end. Good grief. Good. It's good that you didn't know. Some of the things that I've been that I've seen you pitch in this show so far, Road Dogg, is probably a good thing. It's a very wholesome moment. I don't know. It's, like I said, the moment of him when he comes back, it's so it is a crazy moment and one that I'm sure that he'll never forget. And in a way that I'm glad it happened because it did, it did give R-Truth that moment that maybe he'll never get in terms of winning the WWE title or what have you. But it was a massive error by WWE that they had to try and make up for, which they kind of did but kind of didn't. You know. We might have lucked into this being the best thing to ever. Well, it didn't. It didn't. You fumbled it. Yeah, well, you didn't. You didn't. Dude, there's he does cut his hair. Again, it reinvented you worldwide, but what did you do? So he does cut it. And he was also losing his hair, you know what I mean? Needs to be done. Exactly. That's the key thing. He was going bold. That's the key. That's the key thing. We've all been there. I have. Right. Well, that's episode 2 in the bag. All right. Let's do episode 3 here, which is the Vision. Episode 3 is the Vision. We reset the clock here. Obviously, these will have different run times. Episodes 3, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Make sure I've got my timer set. There you go. So this will be, very Seth Rollins and faction-centric, right? Was the closing moments of WrestleMania Night 1. Heyman and Rollins. And it is a bit, yeah. But it's always about Bron Breakker. It's always really about Bron Breakker. Just now entering his prime, but they got the injury. They've been planting the seeds for Rollins and Heyman for a long time. Had they? I felt like it became obvious that this was going to happen maybe a couple of weeks before WrestleMania. It's about the future of WrestleMania. You're going to? Well, I hope so. I haven't seen it just yet. And that, to be honest, that was without the injury, Apex of the business, WWE. Oh gosh, I'm having flashbacks seeing Jey Uso win that Men's Royal Rumble match. I forgot that again because this is going to cover sort of the spring into the summer of last year. This is when the creative wasn't great, so actually I'm probably going to see a lot of this. This is probably going to annoy me. Was that maybe the best idea? He has been a success story in WWE Penta. But the way he's managed to transition across from AEW, he's done really, really well. And he's super popular, super over. The only thing is, I think at the moment he's working very banged up. I mean, we already know that he's working with a torn bicep. And I don't know how recovered he is when it comes to his shoulder injury. And nobody still, I mean, the Penta and Ray Phoenix, I still think it's, is it known what their real names are? I don't think it is. Which is pretty remarkable. Look at that. Oof. See from AAA. Sometimes you do fall. And people forget, Penta's been popular for a long time already. I mean, you know, this guy was over in Lucha Underground in 2014. This is like, he's been over for like 12 or 13 years. Pyramid is called WWE. Penta arriving in WWE. Yep, Pentagon Jr. Or Penta El Zero Miedo. He has done that. He's been a really good addition, Penta. A really good addition for WWE. I mean, he's got it. He can work. He's obviously got a mask. He's got a good catchphrase. He's speak multiple languages. I mean, just he's got it. He's got it, Penta. It is never a guarantee. That is very true. Yeah, he had a very good debut. Entrance over. Match Chad Gable. Yeah. A good bit of recruitment by WWE. No doubt about that. As much as obviously I love the Lucha Brothers and the matches they had in AEW are fantastic, I always felt that there was a bit of money being left on the table from a singles perspective. And you can see his torn bicep on his left arm. It's gnarly. Penta New Era. Sarah Miedo. There he is. They had a great match. Chelsea Green and Penta in Lucha Underground. It was ridiculous. I wonder how they were able to show the footage. I'm not sure who owns it. Yeah, it was a ridiculous match. No. It's not going to happen in WWE. Oh, they're building a home. Yeah, that is pretty remarkable. That's amazing. Building a home. Three-car garage. A gym. Good for you. 5-year contract. Women's United States champion. She is living her best life. That's going to be her office. It's going to be a built-in bookcase for her championships. Yes, the inaugural Women's United States Championship up there. Living next to a lake. I would worry about flooding, though. Particularly in Florida. And Chelsea Green talking about the future. Now, it is a bit of a mind F. Hey, we've all been there, JP. They're just starting to make good money now. Well, this is the concern, though, with Chelsea Green, isn't it? Yeah, you can place her in any role, any story, but sometimes that's to a detriment. Yeah, but it's one thing saying you are it, but she wants to be the main event. That's what she wants to be. She will get the most out of 30 seconds. Then some people want a 30-minute match, but once again, sometimes that's the BS because you only get given 30 seconds because they know that's all you need, which is sometimes not what you want. I was not on board with this decision at all, her dropping the title to Zelina Vega. It was way too soon. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Chelsea Green. It was way too soon. Vega wasn't a good enough worker. It was not the right call. Definitely was not the right call. Yeah. And that's what it felt like as well. It felt like just sort of being sprung on her. Yeah. It was, like I said, it was a bad decision. You know, the crowd reacted amazing because they always will. The crowd's always going to pop for a title change because they like to be there that they've, witnessed history. She did do her job, but doesn't make it the right decision. And she wasn't a very good US champion, in my opinion. Not like Chelsea was. Again, right move, right call. Do you know what's mad? Seeing these writing meetings or whatever, they just come across as totally inept. And it reflects on the programming as well. And that's what you did anyway. They flipped the belt eventually to Chelsea, and they still did it. Ugh, that writer's room. Good grief. But that's what you did. That's what they did. It's exactly what they did with that US Championship switch. Why can't she be in a Tiffany Stratton role? But that's her frustration, and she doesn't want to be that person that makes people. Why can't she be further forward? That's where you're thinking that she should be. Just go around telling everyone the finish. I'm losing. To make sure everyone knows I'm losing. Saying it was allergies. It sounds like she got COVID or something like that, maybe. Yeah. I was just using inhaler. My goodness. Dad giving her an inhaler because she's got to work a match. My goodness. That's crazy. Yeah, these matches were not good. I remember these. They were not great whatsoever. I think, yeah, Zena botched a load of stuff and broke Chelsea's nose, I think, during this match. I think that's what happened. Bless the person trying to chop up the highlights of this one. Yeah, that again wasn't great. Okay, that was okay. Oh, it was the shits. Not only did she botch it, but she still broke the nose. Oh, God. That's all Zelina Vega's fault. Look. All Zelina Vega's fault. Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, it was not pretty. I tell you what, if I was Chelsea Green as well, I would be pissed. Because that is not... She's ill, and then your opponent's just done that. I'd be... Oof. I would be seething. Seething. What happened? You kicked her in the face. I mean, she handled it very well. I'd be pretty pissed. It can't break again. Oh, she'd have to have surgery, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be pretty pissed too. Right, and it's just like, look again, it's totally on her. Oof. Looks painful. $4 weeks to heal. The problem is about if you're injured as well, it's just disappearing. Why is she not your #1 draft pick though? You're putting a ceiling on her there. Yeah, exactly. Don't put limits on it. Yes, indeed, that's what this whole faction's about. Is about getting Bron Breakker over. So I mean, the whole that's what I've been saying for months. The whole purpose of this group is to get over Bron Breakker, not Seth Rollins or anything like that. That's what it's been about. Oof. I mean, he will be world champion this year, Bron Breakker. In 2026, Bron Breakker will be world heavyweight champion or WWE champion. Like that is just how it's going to go. With speed up in the air. All right, just towers him in gorilla. What are you going to be doing the next day? You're going to be with Heyman. Bloody hell. Look at that. Nothing like being told in Gorilla like 5 minutes before you go out to work at WrestleMania. Oh, tomorrow it's a big deal, so work. Main event of WrestleMania. The succession plan. That's exactly what it was, yeah. The succession plan going public. Because I remember at this time as well, there was discussion like, oh, it's, is it going to be, is it going to be, how big's the group going to be, rather? I don't think at that point there were plans to introduce Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. That's when a spear. So there was a lot of hype at this point. And then just afterwards, it just felt very flat very quickly. Do you feel good? Yeah. After the races, indeed. That's true. That was just as important. No, he went through Punk. That was brutal. Through the barricade, yeah. About making stars for the future, indeed. What is the vision? Bronson Reed, I'm a big fan of his. Big fan of his work. I think he got into the best shape of his life as well. Absolutely, indeed, is how you get there. That's where you get the smooth operator meme from. Penta's got his own school. I didn't know that. That's incredible. Look at that. Kids, they must be like 5 or 6 years old working like that. That's unbelievable. Look how fast. I'm not sure how good that can be for your body, but at that age. They're a meadow. It'd be pretty cool having Penta as a coach, as a trainer. I'm guessing we're going to see the story behind Rollins winning the Money in the Bank. Yes, it's Abyss. Chris Park. Yeah, it's a complete team effort. Mm. So Triple H wanted to give the crowd the impression LA Knight was going to win. He's constantly teasing with the LA Knight. Maybe he's going to win a world title. Well. Oh, this is a tune as well. Welcome to the jungle. Guns N' Roses. Can't be a bit of that. It's a pretty cool camera angle, this. You know what I mean? When you keep going to that. Oh, yeah, I forgot that the ladders were fireball ladders. Good grief. Everything branded, everything advertised, isn't it? Good grief. Oof, that did land. Oof, oof. JC Mateo was pissing himself in the background. I'm trying to get hit in the nuts. Oof. It is ridiculously violent. Mexican Destroyer on the ladder. Oof. Andrade going splat. And this was the last PLE McAfee did before he went on a break, I think, as well. Like I said, he did look, I felt, pretty, like, banged up on Raw this past week. Yes, it was the Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. This was a pretty unique spot. Oh, and a good headbutt, yeah, as well. Oh! I like seeing the reaction in Gorilla to all of the big spots. They're the same as us, aren't they? Same reactions as us. No, it's a cluster. So, I mean, it's just chaos. Says go, go, go. Fucking that spear's ridiculous by Bron Breakker, isn't it? The ladder broke. Back up under the ring in the same place. That is stuff you just can't, you know, you can't say, well, what's going to happen? That's why you have backups and spares. Yeah. I remember Scott Hall, he said the same thing. Like when they had that match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10, they didn't have a spare ladder. It just had to work out. Well, get in there then, LA Knight. Yeah, I can understand why they would be frustrated. It's not how it's meant to go. You're meant to climb up there with him, aren't you? No, it's not meant to be that. You're meant to be fighting and then goes down and then he pulls them off and... So they did a finish, but they didn't do the finish. Yeah. I was going to say, that's what I thought they said they were going to do a minute ago. So the finish was flat. Yeah. That makes sense. That does make sense. I remember watching that at the time thinking, that's a bit of a flat finish. And the reason it was a flat finish is because it wasn't the actual finish that they were meant to be doing. I mean, Rollins was meant to win. But not that way. Hmm. And then what happens then? What happens in that regard when they don't do it the way they should have? Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah, they would have. He looks pissed. Oh, he looks pissed. That's the look of a guy being like, I know you're telling me this was to get me over, but I don't feel very over either. And why didn't you? That's the question. Why didn't you? That's what I would be asking. No, it's not on you. It is on them. Absolutely. No, that's very true. I know that Chris Park will feel bad, but that isn't... I mean, it is on him to an extent of, like, he's in charge of that match, but like Triple H says, if they don't do it, they don't do it. That's them. Hmm. And he's such a great guy, Chris Park, as well. You can tell. It is a brutal match. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I said he's done really well in WWE, no doubt about that. You see how involved Heyman is in creative. I don't know if he has an official title. Like, he's heavily involved in creative everything he does, but he's like almost like a consultant. You can see in the background the whole stuff going into, I think that's King and Queen of the Ring. And I suppose the benefit as well that with Heyman being at ringside is he's there. You can hear it. Yeah, it's true. He's very over. It does take a bit of time. And also, not investment, takes belief, Michael Hayes. Right, that is true. Yep. Although the problem with the Money in the Bank concept has been just that it has been overdone. Obviously, the Rollins one at WrestleMania is one of the greatest ever. Um, obviously, the original with Edge. Even this could have been way better. Obviously, Punk and Cena. You just feel like if it had been Cena as a babyface, it'd have been 10 times better. That's true. Anytime, any circumstances. was just a tease. So he didn't end up cashing it in that night. Cash it on any title as well. You have to remember that too. Any title was valid. That's when it was a bit of a chaotic finish, to say the least, wasn't it? God, Punk didn't get up for that at all, did he? He did not whatsoever. It was the Charles Robinson sprint. He could still do it. Oh, and he got wiped out by Cena. I forgot about that. Hit the AA. And did the heel turn. Yeah. Punk got walloped, didn't he? See, that was a good finish. Like I said, I would have just preferred Punk and Cena to have the match kind of like AJ Styles and Cena did, where they just sort of pay tribute to Cena and Punk and what have you. The business of the night was accomplished indeed. All right, Triple H. No need to get crass. It was a great bump by Charles Robinson. Whoa! He got smashed. It was a beautiful thing, Seth Rollins. Yeah, it was. You do need to find out what separates you. But that's what I go back to the Chelsea Green stuff. She wants to be something more, but she's not allowed to be something more. I think that's the frustration with pro wrestling, isn't it? Be something more, but you've also got to be allowed to be something more. It was so shocking. Even though originally, everyone thought it was real, but then people figured out quite quickly there was a work. So there you go. That is episode 3 done. Right, what I think we're going to do, folks, I think we're going to call it an evening there. We are going to be live again Friday with another WN365 Live. So either we'll do the 2 episodes on Friday or we'll save them for next week's WN365 Live. We are going to be live, as I mentioned, Friday, same time. Depending on the news, It might be a more newsy show, or we might watch something or discuss some articles, so we'll see you there. But like I said, we won't be live for a SmackDown Friday because it's back in the US. We're going to be live Friday for another WN365 Live. Saturday, we're going to be live for Saturday night's main event, watch along on a post show. And then next week is Royal Rumble week. It's Royal Rumble week, so we'll be live with WN365 Lives on Monday and Wednesday. Friday, then we'll be live for a SmackDown watch along and post show because it's going to be in Riyadh. And then, of course, Saturday, we'll be live for the Royal Rumble. So there's so much content coming up at the moment. So if you haven't already, be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And we'll be back probably, like I said, probably Friday. Actually, that might be quite good. Actually, Friday, what we can do is do the last 2 episodes later on in the show. That's quite a good idea, actually. We can do that, split it up. So we'll do some new stuff, and then we'll do the next 2 episodes. I think that's a good idea. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all tuning in, locking in, or watching after the fact. This was also a bit of a test run. I wanted to see how this all worked, because I am going to have, for the watch-alongs coming up, so i.e. Saturday and just moving forward, this bit here, where you have like because again, I can't show it obviously, but I'm conscious with watch-alongs that you kind of need to know roughly where you kind of are to sync up, and it's easier to do with football because you've got the timer, but it's difficult to do with wrestling because how synced up can you be? So having this there kind of allows you to sync up, kind of, not perfectly. I know it's not a perfect thing. But yes, so that I think this has worked this evening, which I'm happy with as well. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back live Friday. Tomorrow we'll have news videos, countdown videos, and much more. Have a good evening, folks. I'm out of here. Peace.